This guardhouse was built extremely well. No one ever escaped. Going into the cell, you could fit a huge number of people in here if you needed to. This was not a place for convicted felons or anything like that. This was more for soldiers who had been court-martialed for silly offenses like disrespecting your officer, sometimes even as little offense as having a button fall off your uniform. There would also be a bucket in here, of course, for your bathroom needs. Whether there was one prisoner in here or whether there was 30, you'd have to share that with your fellow cellmates. When it came time to empty that bucket, you would come and ask the guard for permission to empty that bucket, at which point you were usually marched out, usually at bayonet point, and you would be walked far enough away from the building that you would empty the bucket. The guard could also keep that bayonet point on you, ready to get you if you tried to run. This catwalk would be walked every 15 minutes if military protocol was being followed. This was a major advantage from the older guardhouse. It made it much harder for people to escape. So even if you get out of your cell, you are still not out of the guardhouse. The solitary confinement cell, of course, would not be a place you would want to be. That door swings open. A little space in there. It would be cold, it would be dark, and it would most certainly be lonely. The ceiling of this guardhouse is actually designed to carry acoustical sound, and it does a phenomenal job at doing that unless you're in the solitary confinement cell. Sound does not travel well in there, so if you were in there by yourself, despite being able to hear most of the rest of the guardhouse, you really are not going to hear much. And of course, the idea being that we wanted these prisoners to never see the light of day again. This is where the hardened criminals would be, those who did more than just break military protocol. These were for people who actually broke the law. So this is the guard's room. Of course, when you got called for guard duty, it was a 24-hour job that you were serving. You would be standing sentry duty for 2 hours, and then you would have 2 hours at rest. One of the things that would be done in here, more often than not, cards, tobacco, coffee. Of course, you were not allowed to sleep during that 24 hours, but you were allowed to rest. These beds are angled at a point where if you fully relax your body on one of these cots, you tend to slide off the end. So if you did fall asleep, there was a good chance you were going to slide off the end, make a lot of noise, and of course the officer, who would be just over there, would pretty clearly hear that and probably know exactly what happened before he even rounded the corner to check up on you.